Regulations Emergency Committee today convened in Geneva to discuss the way forward regarding Ebola outbreak. The deliberation comes just a day after 2 people reportedly succumbed to Ebola in Uganda and 5 families taken to the Democratic Republic of Congo for treatment. For safety purposes, authorities in Kenya have announced Ebola screening centers at all border points and at airports in a bid to curb the spread of the disease. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization is keen to fight the prevalence and spread of hepatitis, an inflammatory condition of the liver.
2 people died following an Ebola outbreak in the neighboring country, Uganda, posing a huge cause of alarm in the country. At the same time, 5 people were taken to the Democratic Republic of Congo for treatment, while over 90 others under restriction from coming to contact with the affected family.
Has called for an emergency international health regulation emergency committee today, this afternoon. And we are waiting for that outcome of the discussion. Basically, is looking at whether they should, the WHO should declare Ebola as a public health emergency of international concern.
Transmission of Ebola through contact with bodily fluids of an infected person, through contact with objects handled by infected persons. According to World Health Organization (WHO), Ebola spreads within 2 to 10 days after a person suspected to have Ebola manifests its symptoms. Ebola symptoms include fever, painful joints, and later symptoms include vomiting, diarrhea, a rash, impaired kidney and liver function, internal and external bleeding. What step is the government taking to ensure Ebola does not spread over to Kenya?
At all the crossing points right now, there's enhanced screening of people who are coming and also people who are going out. And this is part of the preparedness that is being put in place. But as we speak now, there's an international simulation exercise which is taking place at Namanga border. And this involves Tanzania and Kenya. There are many diseases that mimic Ebola. And this simulation exercise, the whole purpose is to make sure that we assess the level of preparedness for those 2 countries.
Meanwhile, in Kenya, WHO is fighting hard to eliminate the presence of hepatitis B and C in the country that is affecting at least 1 million Kenyans.
Part of what we're promoting is, in addition to this pentavalent, there is need for birth dose, because pentavalent starts at 6 weeks. And therefore, the baby has had 6 weeks for mother-to-child transmission and for childhood transmission.
Through various medical researches in the country, a high prevalence is in Baringo, Turkana, and West Pokot regions.
From the research that has been done in those counties, we have realized that it was something that was gotten many years back, and now it is expressing. Why we are still underway, but it shows their lifestyle. Their lifestyle, we, as the professor said it, we like blood, and sometimes they were going to the scarifications. They were doing those ear piercing when they were young, and that is what shows what is expressed as for now.
The transmission of hepatitis B and C from infected mother to child, exposure to infected blood by an infected child, through bodily fluids following sex between men and men or sex workers. Hepatitis B and C contribute to development of liver cancer and cirrhosis. Currently, the international body has put forward the following measures.
So we do have the viral hepatitis guidelines, which are, I can say, 95% complete hepatitis, and therefore by removing those 60,000 will bring down the cost of treatment in a great number. So that is where we are rolling out the Havoni for that reason.
The cost of treatment of hepatitis and the lack of awareness of its treatment has rendered it a risk in Kenya. Now, with the outbreak of Ebola in neighboring Uganda, hygiene and proper maintenance of health is key. Christine Kamau, KUTV.